Zoom recording. Sense how evenly your tongue is lying in the mouth. How evenly is your tongue lying in the mouth? And then move the tongue. You can feel the palate, the midline of the palate. So move the tip of the tongue a few times up and down the midline of the palate. And feel, when are you exactly underneath the nose? And then sense the back of the head, and if you feel it is exactly on the midline. Now put both feet standing. And take your hands to your clavicles, the two collarbones, and put them right in the beginning of the clavicles above the sternum. Above the sternum and beginning of the clavicles below the neck. And sense if they have the same height or one is a little bit higher than the other. That happens a lot when there's shoulder injury. And now lift your right elbow towards the ceiling. Leave the fingers at the sternum and then bring it back. And then lift the left elbow towards the ceiling and keeping the fingertips on that sternum, and just sense that movement of your elbow lifting up towards the ceiling and then coming back down. What does your shoulder blade have to do, and what does your clavicle do? What does your neck do? Sense your breathing. Which elbow is easier to lift? Is it pain-free all the way, forward so the elbow looks towards the ceiling? If not, do less. So you can lift the elbow a little bit from the outside, or you can bring the elbow down and up. There's different ways of doing it. Which one are you doing? And then just leave the fingers there and keep the feet standing. Just rest for a moment. Now tilt your pelvis onto 12 o'clock a little bit, and that, prompts you to lift the chin, head going backwards, and sense how it is, this movement goes through those two clavicle bones, how when you are pressing up and the pelvis is tilting, there's also lifting of the first rib and the first rib that hides underneath the clavicle. and the manubrium, which is the first part of the sternum, and therefore also of your clavicle bones. And then you might also feel the shoulder blades falling backwards a little bit and squeezing a little bit more together. Tiny bit more. And then let that go. Take your hands down, lengthen your legs down, and sense how you're lying on your back. How can you breathe now into your upper chest and especially around the neck? Now put your left foot standing, just the left foot. And a few times lift the toes and then bring the little toe first back, the next toe, and so on until you have all the toes on the floor, and then you lift up again, and then you touch down with little toe first and the next toe. Just make sure that you're breathing while you do this evenly and that your tongue stays soft and wide. Now, next time when you bring all the toes down, so you leave them down and then just small pressure from the toes into the floor and then you release it. Small pressure from the toes into the floor and then you release it. And just do that. You can do it even a little bit faster. Let's get a sense of all 5 toes doing a little pressure and then releasing it. More pressure and releasing it. Now put the palm down, the left palm down, and then lift all the fingers, but not the palm itself. So you're just lifting all the fingers a little bit so they're lengthening out, and then put the little finger, next finger, and so on back onto the floor. There she is. Aloha Sue, we are on the ground. And then rest your hand. Keep the left foot standing. Now, again, the fingers are spread out and just the fingers are quickly pressing into the floor and releasing, pressing and releasing. And the pressure is directed a little bit towards the arm, towards the top of the arm, towards the neck. But you might feel it even in your, when the fingers are doing that, maybe your toes starting to do the same thing a little bit. So fingers are long and a little bit spread out, and you press them long into the floor. And you can feel that pushing all the way into the neck. And then rest, lengthen the left leg out, and sense how the left side is now lying on the floor. Maybe you can sense your left side of your pelvis is way more into the floor now. Left shoulder blade. You might be even touching with your left leg the floor differently. Now put your right foot standing and lift all of your toes, and then put the little toe back, then the next toe, the next toe. Go slow. Keep your tongue soft in your mouth. Watch your breathing. And then next time you have all your toes on the floor, push the toes, quick little push, and releasing it, push the toes with as much distance between between the toes into the floor, and release it, push the toes into the floor and release it. Quick little push and releasing. Again, breathe. Now put your right hand with the palm down on the floor and start lifting all of your fingers. Your palm stays on the floor. All of the fingers are lifting, so they get very long. So they can't be curled, because then the palm would also lift. You're pressing the palm into the floor in order to lift all of your fingers. And sense the effect of that in your whole arm and shoulder. And then also do the same thing. Bring one finger back, next finger, next finger, next finger, until you get to the thumb. And then you relax for a moment, you let it go, and then again you're lifting, spreading the palm into the floor, and then one finger, next finger, next finger, next finger, next finger, and you release it, and again. And then let all 10 fingers be spread on the floor and then press into the floor and push a little bit towards the head. And since you feel that also in your pelvis and hip joint, a little pressure and then you release. And maybe your toes want to help, so let them help. Maybe your neck gets longer on that side. And then let that go, lengthen your leg down and sense how you're resting now on both sides of your body. Our feet are used to get pressure, our hands not as much anymore because we're not crawling much or not at all. But the feet are actually, that's what they are, you know, used to. But then we also have habits. So when we stand and press, we have certain habits. We have to keep ourselves balanced. But now in this position to do the pressure, it stimulates the nerves. And maybe your feet feel a little bit more alive. The proprioceptors are stimulated. Now put both feet standing again. And bring your fingertips again to your clavicles, to that beginning of the clavicle, just above the manubrium, the beginning of the sternum. And now spread your toes as good as you can. And now push from the right foot towards the left hand and sense if you can move that clavicle a little bit upwards. So you push from your right foot diagonally to the fingers of the left hand. Also push from the toes. And then let that go, rest for a moment. Keep the feet standing. The fingertips put again onto your clavicles. Yeah. And then push from the left foot towards the right hand and move your clavicle a little bit. And of course, that moves your neck or the seventh cervical. Your right shoulder blade would be moving. Your right shoulder. And now alternate. Push once from the right foot towards the left hand and once from the left foot towards the right hand. I'll sense maybe one side is clearer, one diagonal is clearer. Now, of course, that also does something to your lower back. You feel when you're pushing from the left foot towards the right hand, the right lower back pressing more into the floor. When you push from the right foot, your left lower back pushing more. Okay, let that go. Take your hands down, lengthen your legs down, and sense how you're resting now. Now put your right foot standing again, and the left palm is on the floor. Put your right foot a little bit more diagonally out. And now just a few times and curl your fingers so your palm is lifting and the fingertips stay on the floor, and you make a point with your all of your fingers on the floor. And you do the same thing with the right foot, and then you release that. So the fingers can, of course, make the point while the toes cannot. So you're now lifting the sole of the foot with exception of your toes. The tip of the toes are staying on the floor. How does that translate into your left clavicle and shoulder? And have a little rest. Keep your right foot standing. Turn your left hand and bring your fingertips together. And so your palm is now up, your fingertips are looking up. And so now alternate making this little point flower, I always call it, because that's the hula flower. And the pua. And then the same thing with the foot you did before. You're gathering the sand underneath your sole of the foot, and you're doing alternating once your left hand, once your right foot. And make that faster and faster. And maybe you sense a little movement in your neck when you do that fast. Of You might sense the movement in your right shoulder blade or in your ribs. Keep breathing slowly, normally, even so you're doing this movement pretty fast. It's a nice brain gym too. Okay, let that go, rest. Lengthen the right leg out and sense how you're resting now. Put your left foot standing. The palm is down on the floor. So now you gather the fingers so the fingers all meet the thumb, and then you gather all the toes and you do that simultaneously, and then you spread it out again. So I always like to give the image you're lying on the beach, you have sand underneath you, and you're gathering a little bit of sand with the hand and with the foot, left foot and right hand. And then you're spreading it again. Keep your breathing normal. Make sure your tongue is soft. Okay, leave the foot standing, rest your hand. But just in case you have gotten a little bit tense in your jaw, move your jaw a little bit again, left and right and left. And sense if you can feel that in your atlas. That you let your atlas participate in moving left and right with the jaw. Now let that go, and one more time, something with the jaw. You smile, and then you bring your lips forward as if you want to kiss. And do that a few times, very softly. Maybe you can let the head and neck participate a little bit, so you would be nodding. Neck gets longer when you smile, and when you kiss, the neck gets shorter. When I say neck gets shorter or longer, I refer to the back of the neck, because of course in the front of the neck, it's opposite. And then leave the left foot standing, rest for a moment. Now turn your right hand so the palm is up, left foot is standing. And now alternate. You are bringing the fingertips together on the right hand, the pour movement, and then you release that and you bring the toes together on the left foot, curling the toes under and then releasing. And then the hand again, and then the foot and foot. So you're starting slow, and then you can make it faster and faster. Sense if this moves your clavicles a little bit and your seventh cervical. Watch that your breathing stays even so you might do this faster and faster. Now rest this for a moment. Actually, change your foot and leg. Have the left palm up then, right foot is standing. A little bit more to the outside, so right foot is standing. Yeah, good. And then the palm is up, so then you bring the fingertips together, you're alternating again, then the toes together, fingertips, toes, spreading again. Now you can emphasize the spreading too. Instead of the coming together, you can emphasize the spreading. Start slow. Now, if you would add your mouth or face, the mouth kissing or smiling, which one, how would you add it? Maybe it's easier to smile when the fingers are opening. Okay, rest. Lengthen the right leg out and sense how are you lying on the floor meanwhile. Put the left foot standing again, and it's your right hand now and the toes of the left foot. The fingers, the palm is up, fingers are curling together, you're releasing, then you bring the toes together. And now emphasize more the lengthening than the curling under. So whatever is lengthening your foot or your fingers, you're really like lengthening. That does something to your shoulder, to your hip joint. Or pelvis. So now add your mouth kissing and smiling. Now, if you are having the mouth smiling when you open the fingers, see if you can have it smile when you open the toes. And if you do it well, then your head, your atlas is moving quite a bit, or the seventh cervical. You're having a little side movement of your neck. Okay. Rest, lengthen your left leg out. There's a lot of brain gym today. And just count your toes. And you count your toes. Just once count your fingers. And then count your toes again. Bring your feet standing. Bring your fingertips again to your clavicles. And move your right elbow down and close to your chest. You're scraping your chest on the side and you move it down a little bit, just a little bit, and lifting it a little bit up, just a tiny bit, and then bring it back. And then the left elbow moves down towards the pelvis and a little bit up along the side of your body and then down again. So the movement is not so big. It's a smaller movement. So your fingertips are at the clavicles. Your elbows are down on the floor, and then you move it down towards the pelvis and then a little bit up towards your chest, and then you come back. And then down towards the pelvis, a little bit up towards the top of your chest, and then coming back. And just sense how your shoulder blade and your ribs and of course clavicles are moving during this movement. And then rest for a moment. You can keep your feet standing. Now bring your fingertips again to the inside of your clavicles. Now do again a 12 o'clock movement with your pelvis and your lower back. So you're tilting your pelvis, pressing the lower back into the floor, and then do the same thing. You're bringing the elbows a little bit both now down and a little bit up, and then you're coming back. So your neck is in the back, shortening, throat is opening. Now, how are these two clavicles moving? How similarly, how differently? So you're not lifting all the way up, you're just lifting you bring the elbows a little bit closer to the sides of your chest and then a little bit up. Okay, let that go. Lengthen your legs down and sense what has changed. Now roll onto your side, the left side. Put something underneath your head if it's comfortable. If not, you can bring the hand or arm, but if you have a pillow close by, do that. Or a towel you have. Now take the fingertips of the right hand again to your clavicle, and then to your right clavicle. And then roll a little bit backwards. So the whole body rolls backwards so that the elbow also goes backwards, and then you come forward and just sense the movement of that clavicle having to stretch open. And in the back, the shoulder blade does the opposite. So the whole body is rolling a little bit to the right. And then rest for a moment. Now take the fingertips again to that inside of the clavicle. And now move forward and bring the elbow a little bit forward. So now you're doing a forward movement and sense your body is rolling forwards and the elbow is coming forward. If there is an injury, you want to be very mindful what your ribs are doing. And not push it too much. Okay, rest. Now let your right shoulder roll backwards, and that makes so you put your right hand onto the right side of the pelvis. Your right shoulder slides backwards, and your right hand slides along your pelvis down to the floor, and then you pull it back. And with the left hand, you can monitor the outside of your right clavicle. And you can also, when you come back, you can reach over and sense that shoulder blade moving. The top of the ridge, the top ridge of the shoulder blade. So you can monitor that with your left hand.
So would your right hand have the palm up?
Yeah, the palm will, if you roll the right shoulder backwards,
The palm
the
is up.
the
Yeah.
palm could, well, it doesn't matter. It goes along, the palm is down on the body, and then it might roll up. I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
good question. Yeah. Okay, good. Let that go. Roll onto your back. And then roll onto the other side. So you're rolling onto the right side. Bring your the fingertips of the left hand onto the clavicle, and you're rolling backwards towards your back, just having that elbow going backwards, and sense how that is. Of course, there's always the two. If you have an injury in your right shoulder, then you're rolling probably the more comfortable position going backwards. And then when you come back, you go forwards. Into the shoulder. And then rest for a moment. And then with the left hand on your left clavicle, roll a little bit forward. And the elbow comes forward and sense how that is. So your clavicle, your shoulder blade, going forward. And then combine it with going backwards. So you're doing a bigger movement. You're going backwards and you're going forwards. Now let that be and put your left arm onto your left side. And then start rolling backwards, having the hand slide down on your body towards the floor, and your right hand can monitor the movement a little bit with the touching your clavicle on the outside or touching your shoulder blade, the ridge of the shoulder blade in the back. So you're rolling from your side to the back as if you want to go lay on your back. And then roll onto your back and rest. And sense the changes. Maybe your shoulder blade are touching differently or lying differently on the floor. Put both feet standing and bring your fingertips to your clavicles. And now bring your right elbow up again, like in the beginning. The fingers stay on the clavicle and then bring it back and then the left, and sense how that goes now and how you can push, with a certain foot. The head, the chin goes way up. And now when the elbow goes up, let your lips go forward too, as if you're kissing. The left, the left elbow goes up, your left foot is pushing, and the left hip can even go up. And then when you come back, smile. Mhm. And then, nice. And then as last thing, come back and spread your toes and lift your heels and push towards the head. And since if you push evenly, so you can feel that in your clavicles, if you push evenly with your feet, the heels are lifting and you're pushing straight through the body. So this is not 12 o'clock, but the lower back still will go very flat, pressing into the floor flatly. Are you pushing evenly? So that your neck is very balanced, being pushed long. So maybe you feel the top of the head pushing from the toes and the ball of the feet towards the top of the head, the crown of the head. Okay, and let that go. Lengthen your legs down and sense how you're resting. Maybe you feel a little bit more centered. Your head maybe a little bit more centered. And then slowly roll to your side and come sitting. And sense how you're sitting now and the length of your neck when you sit up and distance from your ears and shoulders. And gee. And maybe you can actually sit pretty good on the floor. And then slowly come standing and sense when you come standing, while you come standing, what are your toes, your feet doing to help you stand? Are you pushing from the toes? In order to stand up, we need the push from the toes. And the sense the toes planted on the floor, the feet, and how sturdy and upright you feel. Maybe your heels are also very good on the floor. And then lift both heels a little bit and spread your toes and fingers and come back and just do that. Good. And then take your left foot forward, right foot, just lift the heel and push the knee through and do that a few times. And have the opposite arm touch the foot, and maybe you can feel that balance place for a moment. Back foot. Yeah. And change to so the behind foot is pushing, and you bring the knee up and you can hold it. Yes, very good. Hold it for a moment, feeling the strength of the other foot on the ground, balancing you. Yes, good. 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 And then walk a little bit and sense how walking is for you. Maybe you feel more space across your chest and your arms are hanging a little bit freer. Can reach easier. Yeah. Yes, very good. And then, good, if you have a moment, come back to the screen. Julie, how are you doing? Your balance there look good.
It's absolutely amazing to me how what we did with all the brain gym and stuff, the balance was very much improved.
Yes, I
So
agree.
that fascinates me. I don't, you're down on the floor doing all this odd stuff.
Right.
So it was very stabilizing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But we don't realize it, but the mobility of our toes and our, is actually helping a lot to stabilize, so that strength and that
True.
proprioceptive, how should I say? It's like when the proprioceptors are there, they and can feel the floor. They're like, yes, I can stand. Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
Thank you. That was
Yeah.
excellent lesson.
Thank you. Let me
Thank you.
stop.